Origin Jets Home UX, and this is world's smallest jet fighter, XF-85 Goblin. Since there is X there, I knew it didn't work, or they didn't use it because they won't have X in front of it. It's experimental. So yeah, it was never F-85. So yeah, the XF-85 Goblin. Yeah, I like the name Goblin. Why don't planes have that kind of a name a lot, right? It's a few plane has name like that. I don't know where the naming thing comes from. Sometimes they just go to like eagle and things like that. Like why not, right? Raptor, eagle, and sometimes just like Goblin and all this different type of name, mythical type of thing. Yeah, world's smallest jet fighter. How small though? Intend to be deployed from another plane. What? Did they just went all Marvel and like fuck it, we're just gonna launch a plane from a plane or some shit? Yeah. Why didn't it work? It sounds cool. Yeah, obviously, this is like Federation video. I like Federation videos because, he explains it the best, especially when it comes to military stuff, which this is. So, yeah. I've been watching military style videos recently a lot. If you haven't seen them, check out the link in the description, I guess. I've created a playlist for Federation reactions, and, there's other like task and purpose and videos like that as well. Real engineering, for engineering related videos. And yeah, let's watch this. Yeah.
Today we're talking about that time America built a plane that we could shoot out of another plane. It's like planeception. I present to you the smallest jet-propelled fighter plane of all time, the XF-85 Goblin. Speaking of mythical creatures that like gold, this video is brought to you by Acre Gold. It's an online subscription service where you can invest in real gold for as little as $50 a month. So while everybody else is running around investing in holographic Charizard cards and NFTs, you can be investing in just plain old FT.
Non-fungible, a unique digital identifier that cannot be copied, subdivider that is recorded in a blockchain and that is used to certify authenticity and ownership as a specific digital asset and specific. It's just like people just decided like this is like NFT, basically photo type thing that is so unique and it's just like protected by everything, like that has a value. That's what we got on right now, like I guess. People just took that like, money has no value, it just have value because we say it too much literally. It's like, no, it just depends on the backing. Dollar has value because of the population of America and how much they're worth and how much work they can do, their economy.
Investing in just plain old FTs, actual fungible tokens. All right, we said it's small, but how small is it? This thing only comes in at 14 feet long, weighing 5,600 pounds. To put that into perspective, the F-18, the one from the new Top Gun movie, that thing is 56 feet long and weighs 32,000 pounds. I'm trying to tell you that the Goblin is pretty average if you ask me. Okay, but really, it's cold at 48,000 feet, okay? Give it a break. I'm just gonna level with you guys. I'm really surprised I made it this far in the video without making a dick joke. Way more penetration than I thought I'd get. Okay, I'm done. Well, probably not, but we'll see how this goes. All right, so this was not a new concept. This has been around for a long time. It was called a parasite fighter. Basically, they would attach
F-84 Thunderjet hooked on a Ficon trapeze. It was like earlier versions as well, F-84.
So this was not a new concept. This has been around for a long time. It was called a parasite fighter. Basically, they would attach fighter planes onto the bomber and they would deploy the fighters if they had to defend the bomber. But why did America
yeah, that Soviet carrier, right? Was that ever I think that was a thing, right? Did they actually use that Soviet, like how they like ship aircraft carriers, these aircraft carriers with big ass ship with multiple jets attached to it. But I guess this was before refueling was a thing. Yeah.
They needed one in 1948 post-World War II. Well, you see, in World War II, most of our bombers and our long-range fighters had roughly the same range. So when the bombers went out on a bombing run, they had protection with them. Then America invented the B-36 Peacemaker, and it had way more range than any other plane in the American arsenal. And they hadn't quite figured out aerial refueling yet, so they figured, fuck it, we'll just bring the fighter with us. And the XF-85 Goblin is what they came up with. It's basically a flying crotch rocket that goes 650 miles an hour, has 450 caliber machine guns, no landing gear, and only an hour worth of fuel. They basically drop it out of the bottom of the plane, and then after the fight, if it survives, it hooks back up and they pull it back into the plane.
I have been chosen.
Let me guess, that was the reason it didn't work? No landing gear, it will hook back up. What if it doesn't? What if it fails like it happons?
Farewell, my friends. or go on to a better place.
Now, my favorite part about this plane, though, is how they named it. X stands for experimental because there was only 2 of these ever made and it never saw full service. F is the plane designation, so this is a fighter like the F-22 or the F-18. 85 is the model number, and after this baby drops out of the bottom of a plane and starts shooting the enemy with 4 50 caliber machine guns while going 650 miles an hour, Goblin is what the enemy's gonna be doing on D's nuts.
Got him!
Okay, that was a lie. This plane is made by McDonnell Aircraft, and they always name their fighters after mythical creatures like the F-4 Phantom or the F-2H Banshee. Now, the reason this plane never...
Oh, that's why I know of those names, because a company makes them and they always give this kind of name. First of all, I thought, the designation was probably not, this kind of names were probably given by the military itself. I didn't know the company itself. So F-22 Raptor is called Raptor because, the company itself called it Raptor, not the military. That is interesting. I thought military would give names like that. I don't know.
Never actually saw service was because there was a humongous problem getting it to safely rehook back up to the bomber to get pulled inside. As I'm sure you can imagine, when you're flying a plane that resembles a fucking gumball and weighs less than an SUV, and you're trying to pull it up right underneath a humongous plane like a bomber, there's a lot of turbulence. It also probably didn't help that the pilot had some of the biggest balls of steel of all time. Ladies and gentlemen, the only man to ever fly this plane was Ed Schock. This man was stationed on the USS Lexington in World War II and flew 46 combat missions in an F-6F Hellcat. He is credited with downing 4 enemies, 3 of which were in the same day at the Battle of Leyte Gulf. And he was also credited with landing a direct bomb hit on a Japanese carrier at the Battle of Leyte Gulf as well. So yeah, complete gangster, balls of steel, and I'm sure that came in handy because of the 7 test flights of the Goblin ever, he had to crash land it 4 times. The inability for the Goblin to safely reconnect to the bomber would be the final nail in the coffin, bringing the project to an end. All the research efforts would then get diverted to aerial refueling, and that was the world's last attempt at making a parasite fighter. Both prototypes actually survive to this day and can be visited. One is in the...
I mean, that makes sense. Like, I'm pretty sure they figured out, wait a minute, what if we bring fuel with us? With something like a bomber-style plane, right? Big-ass plane, just fuel with them. And they're just like, let's try that, and just work. Like, why do parasite thing? Parasite things, feels more closer to, like I said, the Soviet thing, right? Soviet aircraft carrier, which was like a big-ass plane carrying multiple planes with it. But yeah, the problem was always going to be like, what if it doesn't hook, right? And okay, it's all good and fine if you're experimenting or, I don't know, trying shit out. Yeah, you crash, who cares? But in actual battle, that's going to be a fucking problem if you crash it. So yeah, it kind of makes sense.
National Museum of the United States Air Force in Dayton, Ohio, and the other is in the Strategic Air and Space Museum in Ashland, Nebraska. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Best way to support the channel is to buy some merch at thefatelectrician.com. Quack bang out.
That's it, I'm guessing, yeah? Yep, that's it. Yeah, so pocket planes, it's just man, I love it how small it is. This is insane. And its name as some, I don't know, Goblin is a mythical creature, but name itself makes you think like Goblin, it must be smaller. I don't know why, I just like named Goblin. There you go. Man, this was so good. Did Soviet tried something similar to that, or just like that aircraft carrier thing is the only thing? I don't know. Because usually that's how it goes. If Soviet tries something, US is going to try something like that. If US tries something, Soviet is going to do something like that. Like that Davy Crockett thing with the nuclear, right? The version after that, the big one, right? I'm pretty sure Soviet tried to do that, evaporator or whatever, condensator, something like that. That's the name. I don't know. So yeah, always that's how it goes in Cold Wars, but I don't know. Right, well, that was world's smallest jet fighter, XF-85 Goblin, my channel, The Federation. If you like my reaction, don't forget to subscribe. That way you can really help this channel by helping the algorithm and things. Comment down if you want me to do any specific reaction. And yeah, if you haven't seen other Federation reactions that I did, there's a link in the description or end cards right now, probably here, playlist. And yeah, I guess I'll see you next time.